Or the old Nintendo cartridge.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why. It should be, and you start giving them...
Sega Genesis blow.
They swipe it and go, nope, doesn't work. I literally... Now, this sounds like just like every bad motivational story. I have no money in my pocket. My credit card was declined. The third person, who I can't remember, goes, I got it. Pulls out 20 pages of the thing.
And he just watched you win.
No, this is 3 hours before.
Oh.
This is the afternoon before.
God.
So now, no thing.
No wonder you had diarrhea. You must have win a contest and you're eating fucking processed meat.
But before, and then 3 hours later, then you go and win it the next morning. Everything changed. The next weekend, I think I had a leftover week from before I won it. Weekend after that, money completely 80 times, billion times more than the said that I originally said. So you just, so then you got to that level, right? So now I was on a show, 8 billion people watched it, making this money. I should be feet up, let's relax. And then there's a whole nother game of staying there.
Yes.
So then it's like a video game. Then there's you unlock this bigger boss guy and more bad guys you got to kill, and you're like, oh yeah, level 1 was easy. I can totally yeah. I'm gonna go back in level 1 and just do headshots. Yeah. And you're like, what is all this? And then you got to like master that level, and then it's just always a game.
I always say anybody can get the gig. The trick is to get invited back. And we were in the house talking about corporate gigs, and you said you've been doing a lot of corporate gigs.
Yeah.
And I tell, anytime I do a corporate gig, I already have the gig. What can I do in my 8 hours with these people, including sound check to pick up at the airport? Because you only really see them a couple hours. And the show. What can I do in this tiny, finite amount of time to make them think there is no one else possibly that can come back and do the Reebok retreat in Phoenix next year other than Jay Mohr?
And that's a whole art form and a whole part of the game that nobody teaches you how to do it until you get exposed to that. Then you got to figure out, okay, how do I do this? Then you figure out, how do I get that thing if it's up against me and Jay Mohr? How are you because a lot of times there's corporate events.
There's only 6 guys. It's me, you, Sinbad.
It's the clean guys. It's the comics that are clean.
Like Jay Leno and Jeff Foxworthy are literally probably $200,000 for an hour.
And that's where it pays to be the middle, whatever, the blue collar-y type. What's the phrase you just said? The middle.
Blue collar. I said it right. Middle class.
Middle class comic, because you're at that price range where you're affordable, and yet they're not going to get anybody funnier. You can spend $1 billion and bring in.
Do you want to give this guy 200? Do you want to give this guy 30? Do you want to give this guy 5?
Yep,
they're all the same funny, but 2 of these guys are going to walk on stage, Foxworthy and Leno, and we're all going to go, holy shit! They're here.
Yeah,
that's what you're paying for. Jay Leno walks out. At the podium.
And then 7 minutes in, everyone's back at the bar going, how much longer is this? I don't know. Are you going to the breakout session tomorrow? No. What about you? Nah.
The breakout session. There's always amazing things at a corporate gig. It's like, we had our closest to the whole golf tournament earlier today.
Yeah.
And they give out ribbons and shit, and you're like, wow, if I knew some of this, this would be really interesting.
I did a convention for the steel balls that go on your tow unit on the back of your truck. There's a big ball that you put your boat on. It
covers your hitch.
There's apparently a big enough industry to have all the corporate people show up for just the ball on the top.
They make the chrome ball.
That's their job.
I like the guys that hang. You see this out in Brea, California, in northern Orange County, and you see it in the Inland Empire a little bit. I see a lot of when guys hang actual fake testicles from the back of their truck.
Always good.
My truck's got ball, and you're in traffic behind a pair of swinging balls, like a fucking bulldog that didn't get them cut.
Yeah.
Really? That's what you chose to do with your Ford Lariat F-150.
Yeah.
I think I combined 2 makes of vehicle there.
You were talking about...
Which one do I mean? You're from a Detroit guy. Which truck is the F-150? That's Ford.
Yeah.
And the Lariat.
Ford F-150.
One's a Chevy, one's... I don't fucking know. Save your tweets. At Jon Heffron. Don't save that tweet. Somebody, by the way, at Amazon, on Twitter, tweeted me they bought the Erect Man bottle stopper. And I want to thank you for buying that. Don't forget to go to jmohr.com and you click the Amazon link for all your shopping needs. And as long as you can get a man with an erection to plug your bottle of wine when it's not in use, that's really showbiz-wise, what we aspire to when we're doing corporate gigs and breakout sessions. So thanks for everybody that's been doing the Amazon stuff. And every week I'm going to name the thing that made me super happy that somebody bought. You said the breakout session. It is incredible, like the amount of things that happen at a corporate retreat. Because if I worked at a corporation and they said, hey, we're going to Temecula, California for a retreat, I'd be like, you know what? I'd go on my couch. That'd be a really good retreat for me. If I could just watch soap operas and smoke pot all day.
Some of the stuff those guys have to do all day, and then while they're eating, then the comic comes out.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't even know you're a comic. Like, I had that happen to me recently. Huge event. I'm sitting in the back. Imagine an empty microphone just on the stage. Guy gets up from eating, walks to the mic and goes, you've seen him many times on The Tonight Show, Jon Heffron. Leaves. And then I ran from the back up on stage, and they're like, hey, everybody. And they're like, is this guy a motivational speaker? Is he our new president? Like, who is this guy? Because all they heard was, I was some guy with a bad intro, and then you're up there. Hey, what's up?
You have a clean act, so you must dominate the corporate gigs.
I have a really clean act. And I'm trying to go even cleaner. Like, that's my...
When I'm in a club, I'm pretty filthy, but it's just how I swear a lot when I talk. I don't do stuff to shock. Like,
I do if I get dirty, I could do a bit, and I'll drop some F-bombs or some shits in a clean bit, and the bit sounds dirty.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a corporate...
Remember your mom will cut your fucking hair?
Yeah, I just do that, and then you get the street cred. But I can take that bit...
He's a good comic.
Get rid of the F-bombs, and it's still a clean bit. Where if you have hey, I jerked off to... That bit's always dirty.
Right.
Even if you don't swear on it.
If you say masturbate, it's still people picturing you.
And I've just found,
punching your clown.
With my comedy, when people come to see me, I'm not there to change anybody. I'm not there to give anybody my political views. I'm just there to entertain people so they forget about whatever shit's going on in their life for that hour. And that's my purpose. I'm not, there's a lot of comics that get on with their notebooks and they're like, they kind of like eat the shitter because of their ego. And I don't care what this audience thinks, really. Well,
I've always said, I've railed against comics with notebooks. It's like, you have 3 new jokes.
Yeah.
Like, right now I got 3 new jokes. And I can sum them up by saying, kidnapped, 1 vagina. I got 2 new jokes. But I can stretch them out into like 5 minutes. But like, and eyes. Because I have 2 sons.
Right.
And I do a whole thing about boys are dumb. And I added to it by saying they listen with their eyes. Like if you say "listen to me," they make their eyes wider. They go, right. Oh yeah, and they'll point to their eyes. Like I'm obviously listening. Look how wide my eyes are. And I said once, like I don't understand what they're saying. I swear to God, if somebody kidnapped my boys, and I pause because the audience thinks I'm going to say I wouldn't pay the ransom, and then I get to talk to the audience.
Right.
No, I would give my limbs.
Right.
I'm just saying, if somebody kidnapped my boys. I just think like in an hour they drop them off.
Right.
Just a guy getting out of a van in my driveway, complaining that he's losing his erection, going, keep the candy. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right.
So like that's just kidnap. It's just all of that. Like I don't need a notebook to go through the beats. Like I know what I should be able to say it.
Yeah. Like, or you say it wrong or not wrong. You say it differently. I've been doing jokes for 20 years that I probably say differently every single time I'm on. But that keeps me from not... killing myself.
1 vagina was people that aren't married. It really, and you know what? This, I'll tell you just as guys, and this is another thing, if I could say to comics, not to be a preachy douche, but your act, you should be able to say to people in a regular conversation. You should be able to sit across from a casting director. I think you'll agree to this, though. You should be able to sit across from a casting director or a producer and give them 10 minutes of your act and have them think they're having a conversation.
Exactly. Anytime you do radio, and
it can't be like, oh, just stop it, Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
But I can sit across from somebody like people like I'll tell because my point is I'm going to tell you straight up where this comes from. But I do this on stage. I'm not trying to bid on you, but I'm going to say like, you're happily married.
Right.
The thought of having another woman is fucking so bizarre and frightening to me. And people that aren't married, they can't. It's not. They go, you want 1 vagina for the rest of your life, Jay? Yeah. I go, yeah, that one. Out of the ocean of clams, that's the one I picked. And that one said, I'll fuck you for the rest of our lives. If you choose me, I'll blow you. We'll do the whole thing. Like I don't want. There you go. There's the horn, everybody. I want one vagina for the rest of my life. I don't want to sit on your bed and your fucking Hello Kitty bedspread and look at photo albums with, this is when my dad had his mustache. Oh, yeah, that's fucking great. Am I going to fuck this girl or what? What the fuck is going? Because you still don't even know if that shit's going to happen. And you're sitting going, really, your brother's in Iraq? Really? Yeah, why don't you play me more Sarah McLachlan? This is fucking great. And then she's like, no, I don't want to have sex. And you go home and realize that's an entire Saturday of my life that I wasted trying to have sex with a 6. She doesn't even realize she's the 6 because the 9 turned you down.
Right.
Like, sweetheart, you're my fucking consolation prize.
Right.
Get on it, honey. Hey, gee, Jon Heffron drags his balls on your nose. Hey, gee. See, that I wouldn't do it, of course.
Right. But you see a lot of, like, probably my biggest, not complaint. And then,
I'm sorry. Here's another picture of my dad when he had his mustache.
That's.
He had like a mustache stage.
You don't know if you're being the old curmudgeon-y comic when you give advice to young guys. So like I've kind of stopped because I think I went through a phase when I was like, you know what? Can I give you some? And then sometimes guys want to hear it. Other times guys don't. Is the guy who wants to ask a question before every bit. But nothing bugs me more now. And I think more and more guys do that. Like, so I was driving the other day and went into Starbucks. Anybody here ever going to Starbucks? Clap, clap, clap.
No.
Here's the joke about Starbucks. So I'm always like, if nobody says yes to the question, are you still going to do the bit? If so, why are you even talking to these people?
You know what they do is they get mad, like, nobody fucking goes to Starbucks. A whole room of
I'm the only one. And then
somebody raises his hand. He goes, dude, why didn't you fucking clap? Sorry, bro. I didn't know the marquee said you versus.
Yeah.
I thought it was just you. I didn't know we were going to fight all night.
I
hate impressionists that after every impression they go, thank you. Thank you very much. Like, so that you know when the impression is done. Because my impressions die on the fucking vine. I'm out there doing Keitel, like all the Reservoir Dogs in a row, and like no one's laughing, but I'm just locked in. I realized at the end if I just went, thank you very much, they would just applaud.
Yeah, they know. Or you just take a drink, and that's another comic trick. If you say anything really, really fast and put a lot of words together, you automatically get
run-on sentences are a big hit.
You can always do that.
When you're doing, I want to talk about corporates real quick. You said something about the guys, the breakout sessions. Aren't you amazed that there's corporations out there that people are that fired up about that corporation? Have you ever had a job where you would agree to go away for a weekend with these people and do group activities and wear khaki Hagar slacks?
Yeah, it's usually khaki and then a light blue button up
polo shirt. I'd be like, hey, way to go, John. Go get him, man.
And they got two.
Yeah. Like, real fired up. Those are the guys that shake your hand and they put the other hand on top of both of your hands to let you know they're on top.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, if we're ever in prison, I'm fucking you.
It's funny when you do corporates, depending on what the industry is, their douchiness. You know, like, if it's a money, it's like these are all venture capitalists.
Brutal.
You know you're going to have a bad show. If you go... Oh, this is, they sell hair salon products. You know it's going to be a party.
Fabulous.
And even car. I do a lot of stuff for different car people, like the Mercedes people. Couldn't be cooler. You do some other ones.
You know why they're so cool?
Because
they're selling Mercedes.
And you're dealing with car dealer guys that sell Mercedes, which are a whole Tommy Bahama wearing kind of whole different guy that I never was.
Money guys, it's a nebulous, shape-shifting, mercurial business. They don't know. They're just coke railed out. They get up at 4 on the East Coast to hit the China markets.
Yeah.
Mercedes people are like, you always are going to want one.
There's
as opposed to money, which sometimes you don't want. I realize what a stupid thing I said. But you said about advice. I will only give advice to, I only work with my friends.
Right.
I've encapsulated myself because of the internet. You don't realize what a fucking asshole you are until you actually look at yourself on the internet.
Yeah.
If there was no internet, you would just live in this bubble where it's just you and Tom Segura, or you and Ryan Sickler, or you and Gary Goldman, or you and Tammy Pescatelli on the road, enjoying each other's company and making people laugh. And then you go check your comments, and you're like, "Wow, I'm
terrible.
I stole that hour.
I think I'm a comedian.
I stole that entire hour. How did that happen?
I think I'm a comedian. I get that.
Stories about my kid getting kidnapped. I just stole that from somebody.
My new thing is,
but I'll only give advice to people that I can that are my friends that I will also take advice from. I would never go to the Improv and just some guy that I saw say hey, can I give you some advice? But if Ryan Sickler tells a story in front of me, I'll go, you know what would make that really funny if you put it in front of me?
I only do it with guys or people that, I work with or are featured for me. But there's so many
I like to think of you just showing up at random open mics going, "Hey kid,
listen."
with your cigar.
There's
Let me tell you something. Elton John, gay.
I've been doing a lot of I kind of geek out and go to like seminars, like speaking seminars and stuff, and I've been kind of incorporating some of the stuff I learned there as a
like
comic.
Learning Annex stuff.
No, just like seminars, like trainers training or speaker training. I went to a week-long game of staying there.
Yes.
So then it's like a video game. Then there's you unlock this bigger boss guy and more bad guys you got to kill, and you're like, oh yeah, level 1 was easy. I can totally yeah. I'm gonna go back in level 1 and just do headshots. Yeah. And you're like, what is all this? And then you got to like master that level, and then it's just always a game.
I always say anybody can get the gig. The trick is to get invited back. And we were in the house talking about corporate gigs, and you said you've been doing a lot of corporate gigs. Yeah. And I tell, like, anytime I do a corporate gig, like, I already have the you're eating fucking processed meat.
But before, and then 3 hours later, then you go and win it the next morning. Everything's changed. The next weekend, I think I had a leftover week from before I won it. Weekend after that, money completely 80 times, billion times more than the said that I originally said. So you just so then you got to that level, right? So now I was on a show, 8 billion people watched it, making this money. I should be feet up, let's relax. And then there's a whole nother,
or the old Nintendo cartridge.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why it should be. And you start giving them
Sega Genesis blow.
They swipe it and go, nope, doesn't work. I literally, now this sounds like just like every bad motivational story. I have no money in my pocket. My credit card was declined. The third person, who I can't remember, goes, I got it. Pulls out 20 pages of the thing.
And he just watched you win.
No, this is 3 hours before.
Oh.
This is the afternoon before.
God.
So now, no thing.
No wonder you had diarrhea. You must win a contest.
Jay Mohr, how are you because a lot of times there's corporate events.
There's only 6 guys. It's me, you, Sinbad.
It's the clean
Jeff
guys. It's the comics that are clean.
Like Jay Leno and Jeff Foxworthy are literally probably $200,000 for an hour.
And that's where it pays to be
it pays to
the
be
middle, whatever, the blue collar-y type.
Like
what's the phrase you just said? The middle.
Blue collar. I said it right. Middle class.
Middle class comic, because you're at that price range where you're affordable, and yet they're not going to get anybody funnier. You can spend $1 billion
gig. What can I do in my 8 hours with these people, including like sound check to pick up at the airport? Because you only really see them a couple hours. And the show. What can I do in this tiny, finite amount of time to make them think there is no one else possibly that can come back and do the Reebok retreat in Phoenix next year other than Jay Mohr?
And that's a whole art form and a whole part of the game that nobody teaches you how to do it until you get exposed to that. Then you got to figure out, okay, how do I do this? Then you figure out, how do I get that thing if it's up against me